Let's call this meeting of the Finance Committee to order at 7:07. Okay, we have,
Minutes.
well, let's first of all establish that we have a quorum so we can vote.
Okay.
And we have 5 of our members, so that's a quorum. And you have them all, you have this all down.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right, we have the minutes from our last meeting, which is right here. If you'd like to take a moment to read those, that would be good.
You got the crack sealer yet?
No, I talked to him just this week, late last week, and it's due in within the next 2 weeks.
Have we had any inquiries, do we know about other towns wanting to use it?
We have
Or
not.
do they even know about
We
it?
didn't put it out yet.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
we'll wait till we.
We have to use it
Get it.
first.
Use it.
No, but I think, you know, somebody said something to me about it, and I said, but do you understand how much it costs? And a lot of people are not in a business where they have to pay someone to do something. You know, like, you gotta pay the guy to go down to that town and get in that vehicle and bring it back. Or you gotta pay 2 guys to go there, and the cost is unbelievable, and
Well,
people don't understand that.
We did a study of how quickly it would pay back, and it was,
I think
of course,
it
not
will.
long. It was
And then I think-
between 5 and 6 years.
But I
And
think a lot of the towns around here, be like, oh my God, you don't have to go to
Well, we have to
Millbury
go,
or,
yeah, it's the middle of the state.
yeah,
Right.
so they don't have to pay guys to go that far, they don't have to pay guys to go to Newbury.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
Is a motion to accept them? Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Done. Okay, now, we have a report from the Capital Planning Committee. And what we had determined in capital planning was that the, find the right one. That the amount that we approved for the ambulance was $194,495, which was on the warrant. We did not.
What's it?
194,495. That was on the warrant. We discussed that, and Tom had done some research. Hopefully he will share with us.
It was over, one I believe was $40,000 or thereabouts to buy the secondary lift kit, which was basically it was an arm that came out and put the stretcher under the ambulance by itself. I could only find one other municipality that actually has it in the state. I didn't find any place where there's any regulations coming down the pike that is going to require anybody to have that. So I saw that the fire chief had done a real good job with requesting a grant for it. Hopefully he gets through with the grant. But given the cost of it, it just didn't make sense at this point, given some of the other needs in the town.
when you're my size,
What's that?
when you're my size, you could lift the
But you don't have to
stairs
do
up.
that.
No, this
But
would
I'm
make it
saying
so much
they still-
easier.
But they still have the lift assist structure, which is collapsible. So you're still putting the wheels on the ambulance, and all you're doing now is the thing's collapsing and putting it,
Exactly,
and I get that.
so much better. much
But, I mean, it's a
Safer.
lot of money, 40 grand, for a device to come out of an ambulance. It's only gonna be on one ambulance. And so, like I said, he's already put in for the grants, and I wish him well, hopefully he gets them.
But you know why they do it? Because they can.
So,
Put it out there and charge 40,000 when it's probably worth 3,000. But they do it because they can, because it's
Exactly.
something that people think they need.
So what, I'm
So,
either out of the loop or I don't understand what's going on.
okay. There were
What are the implications of
Okay.
this?
There were two requests, basically, that came down the pike from the police, fire.
Fire.
And this is to replace the ambulance and replace the ambulance with this piece of equipment.
Which was included, would have been included in the 194, 495.
No, it was not. That
So
was
it would be
without-
in addition to that.
That's in
It's
addition to
35,000
Yeah.
something.
Oh, okay, was the original.
No, the 194 was the original, and that's the one that went
Well, I
on
heard
the
a
warrant.
bigger number before, but this is what came to us.
And so
Okay,
we've approved that, which closes the loop on
okay.
what we have and what happened at the town meeting. So we did it entirely backward.
Mhm.
But we have now closed all of our bases on that particular item.
With respect to the capital planning committees.
Capital planning committee and FinCom,
Okay, all
because
right, I got it.
it comes from us,
Yeah.
from
Was this-
from capital planning to FinCom.
Yeah.
Then it gets approved, goes to town meeting.
Right.
We happen to do it the other way.
It's happened once before too,
Oh,
since
I'm
I've
sure.
been here, I remember. Just because of the timing,
Yes,
it was a piece of equipment for the DPW, I can't remember what it was, but something had broken down. So we had time to get it on the warrant, but we couldn't convene a CPC meeting, so before it was actually purchased. We
Right,
did get the
right, and-
approvals in
and
place,
we-
but,
nothing's been purchased yet.
Right,
Yes.
right, sometimes the timing is off, unfortunately.
May I ask about the grants? So the grant would be specifically for that lift if you can get it?
Yep.
He gets
And that
it,
could
he gets
be, that could be put on
Well,
aftermarket?
retrofits, actually, I think the
Oh,
grant is
yeah.
for more than one, correct?
I thought it was one. I'll have to look.
I thought it was for more than one, but yes, it's a retrofit.
And it's a nice thing to have, but.
It's a great thing that it is.
Mm-hmm.
But the grant, hopefully.
Especially when you're only 5'2".
Well, we could.
Well, you guys wouldn't know about that.
I was 5'2" once.
Yeah, a long time ago.
When I was in high school.
Yeah, really.
Really? There's the smallest kid in
Okay,
the class.
so this, and then we're still,
Okay, so
minutes been approved.
minutes have been approved,
So that's,
and we've had the report from the CPC on the approval of the ambulance at 194. Okay? Now, we have several other things to do tonight, which shouldn't take very long. We are charged with having two representatives on the capital planning committee. Right now, I'm on there and Tom is on there. Okay? We have two non-FinCom members. Stuart, and I have to contact him and see if he wants to re-up,
He did send an email saying he was interested.
okay? And Nick Orm is not up yet.
Correct.
Okay, and then you and I are both up for that.
And I sent an email.
Yeah.
And it did come through.
Yep, but actually, it's
It has to
the
be-
finance
So it
committee
comes
that
to
makes
here. We
those
make
two
those two.
appointments, yeah, it's a little unusual the way our bylaw is established, it has two appointed by the finance committee, two appointed by the selectmen, and according to the bylaw, I serve as a voting member, We haven't done that in practice, but I can count towards the quorum
Right.
because of the bylaw.
So,
So
we can,
should we make a motion for you two to be, remain on CPC?
That was fast.
Well, we can do Tom.
did you see that?
any time.
Tom has
Sure,
already
next time.
indicated he wants to,
Yeah.
but even though we didn't get it.
Yeah, I would serve again, because I think we got some things in the works that, are going forward. So I think it makes sense for us to stay on, unless somebody else wants to boot me off and. Okay,
Should we make a motion to do that?
well, we do have to make a motion.
I make a motion that Mr. Jesperson and Mr. Howard be our representatives to the CPC.
Second that.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we got that done. Then we have, generally we have somebody who interfaces with the, school committee, right? Jean, we were doing that.
We used to have, how's that?
The DCC reps.
Yeah,
Yes.
DCC. We used to have, there used to be two, always.
Yeah.
And it was more informal, but they formalized it a little bit more.
They have, and the selectmen have, amongst themselves appointed Alicia Greco and Damon Jesperson have been serving as the appointed liaisons.
Right.
However, the majority of the board members have been attending all the meetings.
Okay. Should we, or do we need to have somebody from FinCom?
I think the two people, Jean, obviously, because of your expertise, and Frank were appointed by the Board of Selectmen, and you were the people attending, correct?
I believe.
For many years.
For a number of years.
Yeah.
Even others did attend as well, but Frank and I.
But you were the votes,
Yeah,
right?
we were the votes.
Right.
Whenever there was a vote.
And right now, it's Alicia and Damon who are the votes, if you will.
And they're clearly, it's advisory, it's not,
Absolutely.
it's not.
I understand it's advisory,
Yeah.
but I think having a liaison from this
Yes,
group makes
oh yeah, it
sense.
would be good,
Always welcome
Yeah.
to
it
come.
would be good, but anybody can go.
Yeah,
The meetings are when?
they change.
They change, usually on a
DCC,
Thursday.
I get emails from
Yes,
them.
Everybody
Yeah,
does.
we all do.
Oh, all right, I didn't know.
Generally Thursdays, but they do change.
And they don't.
Yeah, and the location.
Location, they've been rotating through the towns,
We were here
having the
last time.
meetings at the various towns, they've been here twice, I think. Which is actually not a bad idea,
Mm.
really.
Paul, will you be,
I would be willing to do that one, yes.
well, I would make a motion that we appoint Paul our liaison to the DCC.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
In retrospect, I honestly believe it should be somebody that understands the school set. I mean, between you two, you
Been
would,
there, done
but
that, yeah.
I don't know how all that stuff works.
It works.
No, I know that, but you guys know that. You win.
Okay, and the last one we had was, I think it was the last one, was the master plan committee. I had been on the master plan committee and, had indicate, coming off the end of my term is up. I've indicated that I would stay on that if it pleases this group. If I can just stay on that, because we're working through the capital. What happens is the capital plan interfaces with the master plan. And so,
But as you guys all know, it's a learning curve.
Mhm.
And it's better if we're in a critical place, that we don't have to have somebody learning the learning curve.
right, that's why I
That they
said
understand,
I could
so
stay on that.
I think that's a good idea.
going forward.
What's the timeline on that?
We're past the timeline,
Yeah, I know. What's,
but it's supposed to be every 10 years. And we are 3 years past.
We're rolling way past it.
That's arduous.
Like 15,
That's a
20 years.
lot of work. And it's,
We've gotten a lot of it done. There's
you
a,
get the data, and then by the time you get around to putting it together, the data's old. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
toughest part, I think, of the whole thing is trying to put together something, one, that makes sense, and two, that you can put out to the town and say, this is what we think it makes sense. And
Hope nothing goes wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Set you off course.
what, the reason we got into this on the master plan years ago was when we were looking at what we were doing on the capital planning committee. And we said, well, where's our mandate? Well, the mandate for us is the master plan.
Right.
And so we went back to the master plan and said, this needs to be updated. And specifically with regard to capital plans, but also the long-term plan for the town. Where is the town going? What does it want to do? That sort of thing. And getting input for that has been probably the most difficult thing I have ever seen.
I'm shocked.
No.
Not really.
Yeah, because you have to put together questionnaires in a way that people can rationally respond to them, and you don't get a whole lot of feedback.
That's exactly right.
Only
You're
interested people come
absolutely
up.
right.
But the key
And then
is
the
figuring-
interested people say, this is what I'd like to see. And then the no's come out of the woodwork like
Right.
summer rain.
And that's
Exactly.
the data income, in my opinion, you gotta figure out a way to get good data to begin with.
Right.
300 people, in the town of 6,000, I don't know how many you've got, but I'm just throwing it out. Because there's a fair amount of research that I've read about relative to towns like ours. They're dying.
Yes.
Slow death, but they're dying, because there's no, there's not that shift. The neighborhoods recycle, we're not recycling.
Mhm.
From the old to the young,
But
you
look
can,
at-
I saw it in Newburyport, they recycle. As I worked in Newburyport for 40 years, the kids grew up, I'd send 3 buses to the West End, then it diminished a little. Now we're sending 4 buses again, and then it diminishes, and then, same is true of Plum Island, probably will never change, because
No.
it's, the whole demographic there has changed. Anyway, you're not gonna find a lot of kids out there because it's not family oriented, to be honest with you. But we're losing some of that as a community. It won't happen in my lifetime probably, but there is the need
Well,
for
But,
communities to
but if you look
recycle.
at
The housing stock,
voting, we get 20%.
well,
If we are
that's-
lucky, we get 20% of the people
Yeah.
who come out and vote, because they're all too busy, and we don't have a lot of young families, and they don't care. People
Well-
don't care the way they used to when we all came to Newbury. People don't care like they used to care.
Well, there were
They're too busy working.
a couple of things, and I think that, being a bedroom community is one.
Yeah.
One. And two, and this is a study that I brought to capital planning from New Hampshire, where they studied the aging of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
New Hampshire is aging, it's the second fastest, Maine the first of aging in the United States.
Yeah.
And they looked at some of the issues, and we looked at them in capital planning as well. But things like over 55 developments, the fact that land has gotten so expensive, and because of soils, you need 1 acre or more to have a lot. So infrastructure is a problem, whether it's and infrastructure that is good for kids, whether it's sidewalks, whether it's water, sewer, however that goes together to make a livable space. What we're finding is in a lot of places where people would love to live. You know, this is a great town. It really is a great town. But we have to have a place for young people. It was affordable a long time ago because the prices, you know, land prices were, where you are and all the way down School Street,
Right,
when those things went in, they were starter kits.
absolutely,
Every house was the same.
absolutely.
Within 10 years, you know, this one had built on this one had a garage, this one did this, you know, and we don't have any starter kits. The stuff that's going in is $1 million homes.
Exactly. What do you think about, excuse me, when our little neighborhood was built, you know, everybody had either tan, pink, or turquoise blue, cause that was the way, appliances, cause that was the way it was built, but that was back in the sixties when they were really developing all of that land around here in Blackfield. And
Right.
I think it was the same way all over Newbury.
First time we went to her house, trick or treating, they were there. Okay. Where the garage was, and that roof, that was a slab.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, you know, and you see this stuff build up, but what are we gonna do for younger families? And this is a big issue, this is a big question.
And as the representative of younger families who moved in the recent past, I mean,
It's expensive. You gotta have two incomes.
we needed 3. My mother-in-law lives upstairs.
Oh, that's a good thing that she brought her in.
And and I will say, I mean, we were looking for a 2-family. Newbury would probably not have been on our list, but for the fact that there was a 2-family with a yard, which was something we were not finding other places. So I'm glad we landed here. We moved in 08, so it's 11 years now.
So you're. And Newbury's, what Newbury has is very good tax rate, so that makes it attractive with the cost of housing.
Right.
And its proximity to Newburyport.
But it's a proximity to, you know, going north, going west, going south.
That's up to the plan, we're waiting for the master plan to tell us exactly what we need to do.
There you go. Okay, so, those are all the appointments that I think we have to make, or liaisons that we have from this committee. Do we have any reports, any transfers,
Hold on,
anything?
Marshall, I don't think they voted on you staying in.
Oh,
I make a motion that Marshall and
So moved, second. National Plan Committee.
master planning. Sorry, the allergies are really taking over.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'm
Thank you,
so
Jim.
sick of this coughing, clearing my throat, sneezing. I have it.
Everything's tracking as anticipated. I was just saying earlier, Paul, and I shouldn't have said it out loud, but it looks like we're gonna have a very limited amount of transfers. Everyone's become really good at budgeting and very conscious about checking them every month. So generally speaking, we know within 6 months if there's gonna be a problem, and the manager's making me aware of it sooner. And are taking action to try and remedy the issues between, you know, December and June. So I don't think we're gonna see a lot of transfers this year.
Okay, so we are,
All it takes is one.
I know.
we're set up for a meeting.
Yes, we are set up for a meeting and I'll keep you posted.
It's a Monday night, not Tuesday.
It's a Monday night,
Yes.
the 15th is the last night that we can take any action on reserve fund transfers. Not reserve fund transfers, I'm sorry, year-end transfers, which require both the action of the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee.
Then a meeting before that, so I'll be, working really.
But if we can muster quorum, who wants to text you?
So is that next week?
July.
July.
July 15th.
Yeah, it's
July
a Monday.
15th.
Oh, yeah, I need to be there, for sure.
No, I think I'll be back.
Do you make a note Tom's got another meeting, and if we don't
Usually
require him
it's
for
too late.
quorum,
Yeah, I do.
text him.
Seriously,
How does that fall?
He doesn't have to rush over. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be back. That'll be my first. Rested in my last.
So our next meeting date is the
Well, I had a communication, anybody else have a communication from Jim Moran?
Yes, I got that today.
Today.
Lots
Yes.
came in today. I think it was
I,
us.
he sent it to everybody, it was later this afternoon.
Relative to, I'm not familiar with what happened, but I guess it had something to do with his desire to see the existing building committee continue as the town
The board of selectmen at their last meeting.
appointed a different committee, and his request was not to do that, but to continue with the present 4-member building committee to address. That was just, I think that was the nature of it.
That was the gist.
But it's really not officially here, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's not.
No.
No, I don't think that.
Well, no, he just addressed, but he addressed it to all the finance committee members
But-
as well.
But I think it was just to keep us in the loop,
Informed, okay, that he was.
More than anything, I
Yeah,
don't
and we
think there's
don't
anything
have
we
any
can do.
say or action to take, but,
Has nothing to do with us really,
I
other
haven't
than to
even
keep
looked
us in the
at
loop.
it yet.
okay.
Been
Jim
on.
Moran, is that who?
I don't need any more loops, I got enough.
I haven't seen any other communications. Our next
No.
meeting is the 15th?
Of
July.
July.
Motion to adjourn in order?
It is.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.